And now to the latest on the 4 wildfires scorching the state of Nebraska tonight. Now, the largest, the Morrill Fire in the Nebraska Panhandle. It's the largest in state history and more than 570,000 acres and just 18% containment at this hour. Now, it's already taken 1 life and is just one of 4 wildfires burning in Nebraska. The Cottonwood Fire, which is in Dawson and Lincoln counties, it's actually the 2nd largest in the state, growing to more than 120,000 acres. We're also keeping a close eye on the Road Fire and Andreessen Ridge fires, along with the Quarry Fire in South Dakota. That's near Mount Rushmore, which is at 7,000 acres. Our team coverage continues tonight on Live at 5 as firefighters from across Nebraska and even Iowa are being called on to battle these massive fires. KTIV's Kaylee Dobbs picks up the coverage now from Battle Creek, Nebraska.
As western Nebraska sees some of the worst wildfires in history, the rest of the state's firefighters are stepping up and stepping in, and that includes right here in Siouxland.
It's traveling through counties, it's, multiple counties it just burns right through them, and, there's little to no stopping it.
Mike Goodwater, assistant fire chief with Battle Creek Fire and Rescue, said the first call came in late Thursday night.
We left 2 in the morning.
And then a second call requesting more manpower and more rigs.
This time there was 4 of us. We took a grass rig and a tender out there.
While Nebraskans are being told to evacuate, 6 Battle Creek firefighters ran into danger.
We deal with grass fires here, but not the magnitude of what we dealt with out there.
Firefighters from all across the state of Nebraska answered the call for help.
There was probably 30 to 40 different towns that had, and then different groups would come in at night and help take the night watch.
It was Battle Creek's first wildfire, having just been certified 2 weeks ago.
6 of us just finished up a class to get what they call a red card so that we can go on these types of fires, and we didn't think we'd be using it as quick as we did. So it was about 2 weeks after we got our cards, they called us up.
They spent 3 days fighting the Cottonwood Fire, but say there was not much they could do. Goodwater said it was a full community effort, and when they left to battle those blazes, Norfolk Fire Department was ready to respond to all of their calls back home. In Battle Creek, Nebraska, Kaylee Dobbs, KTIV News 4.